In 1974, the football world witnessed something it had never seen before. A man, thin, pale, with a cigarette always hanging from his lips, walked onto a pitch in Munich, Germany, and did the unthinkable. He did not just play football, he redefined it. He turned a simple game into a form of art, into a weapon of rebellion, into a statement that said, "I will not follow your rules. I will make my own." Today, you are not just going to learn about a football player. You are going to learn about a boy from a poor Amsterdam neighborhood who lost his father at age 12, who slept in a small room above a concrete street, who was told he was too thin, too difficult, too strange, and who, against all odds, became one of the most influential figures in the history of sport. This is not just a story about football. It is a story about genius, about the price of greatness, about a man who refused to be controlled by coaches, by presidents, by governments, or even by death itself. By the end of this video, you will understand why Johan Cruyff was more than a player. He was a revolution, and his story will change the way you think about courage, creativity, and the cost of being truly free. Before we begin, here's something important. If you want to improve your English while discovering the greatest stories in history, make sure to subscribe to this channel. Every week, we bring you a new story that will teach you English and teach you something about life. Now, let us begin. Johan Cruyff was born on April 25, 1947, in a hospital in Amsterdam, the capital city of the Netherlands. But he did not grow up in the wealthy part of the city. He grew up in a neighborhood called Bettendorp. In Dutch, Bettendorp means concrete village. That is exactly what it was. A working-class area of concrete buildings, small streets, and hard lives. Imagine gray apartment blocks, narrow streets where children played with a tennis ball, and the constant smell of cooking from open windows. There were no parks, no gardens. The children played football on the concrete itself. His father, Hermanus Cornelis Cruyff, was a grocer. In other words, he owned a small shop that sold vegetables and other everyday goods. His mother, Petronella Bernarda Dreiger, worked at home. The family was not rich. They were humble. They had enough to eat, but nothing extra. No luxuries, no vacations, no safety net if something went wrong. And something did go wrong. When Johan was 12 years old, his father died. It was July 8, 1959. His father was only 45 years old. He died of heart complications, a sudden heart failure. One day he was there. The next day he was gone. Imagine that for a moment. You are 12 years old. Your father is the center of your world. And then he is taken from you. Not by old age, not by a long illness you could prepare for, but by a silent attack inside his own chest. For Johan, this was not just a tragedy. It was a turning point. After his father's death, his mother could not keep the vegetable shop running alone. She needed money. So she went to work as a cleaner at the Ajax Amsterdam Stadium. Ajax, the biggest football club in the Netherlands. Every day, young Johan would walk to the stadium where his mother scrubbed floors and cleaned seats. He would watch the players train. He would kick a ball against the walls. He would dream, and that dream, that desperate, burning dream, became his escape. But here is something important to understand. Johan Cruyff was not a natural athlete. He was thin, very thin. Some people said he looked like he had been starved. His legs were long and skinny. His shoulders were narrow. When he ran, he moved in a way that looked almost awkward. But he had something that no one else had, something you cannot see in a photograph. He had a mind that saw football differently than anyone else on the planet. On his 10th birthday, April 25, 1957, Johan Cruyff joined the Ajax Youth Academy. This was the official starting point. The moment when a boy with a broken family and a hungry heart decided to pour everything he had into a leather ball. But even then, the path was not easy. At Ajax, the coaches were strict. They wanted players who obeyed orders, players who ran where they were told to run, players who did not ask questions. Cruyff was not that kind of player. He asked questions constantly. He argued. He demanded to know why. Why do I have to pass the ball there? Why can't I dribble instead? Why do we have to play this formation? The coaches did not like this. They wanted discipline. They wanted silence. But Cruyff could not be silent. His mind was always moving. He saw solutions that no one else saw. He saw passes that did not exist yet. He saw the game 3 or 4 moves ahead of everyone else, like a chess player who sees the end of the match before the first piece has moved. The problem was that no one understood him. Not yet. He made his first team debut for Ajax on November 15, 1964. He was 17 years old. The match was against GVAV, a small club from the northern city of Groningen. Ajax lost that game 3-1. Ajax lost that game 3-1, but Cruyff scored Ajax's only goal. Let me tell you something about that game. Cruyff did not do anything spectacular, but those who watched him could see something unusual. He moved differently. When he received the ball, his head was already up, scanning the field. He was not just playing the moment, he was reading the game. And this is the part most people do not know. Cruyff was not physically fast, not compared to other athletes, but his mind was so fast that he seemed to arrive at the right place before anyone else. He understood that football is not about running. It is about thinking, about anticipation, about being where the ball will be, not where it is. This is what made him special. But it also made him difficult. Let me explain to you what total football means. Imagine this. In the 1960s, most football teams played in fixed positions. A right winger stayed on the right side of the field. A center forward stayed in the center. A defender stayed in defense. Everyone had one job, and they did only that job. Total football changed everything. Under this system, invented by the Dutch coach Rinus Michels, players were allowed to switch positions freely. A defender could attack. A forward could defend. The goalkeeper could start an attack with a short pass instead of a long kick. The only rule was this: if you leave your position, someone else must take it. Imagine a dance, not a rigid march. A fluid, moving, living dance where every dancer knows every role. Cruyff was the heart of this system. He played as a striker, but he would drop deep to receive the ball. He would appear on the left wing, then suddenly appear on the right. He would run into midfield, draw 2 defenders toward him, then pass the ball to the space he had just left. Defenders did not know what to do. They could not mark him because they did not know where he would go. And every time they tried to stop him, he did something they had never seen before. Like the Cruyff turn. Watch any video of Johan Cruyff and you will see it. He received the ball with his back to the goal. A defender is tight behind him. Instead of turning normally, Cruyff fakes a pass. He drags the ball behind his standing leg with the inside of his foot. Then he pivots, spins 180 degrees, and runs away with the ball while the defender is still going in the wrong direction. It sounds simple, but no one had done it before. That is what genius looks like. Not just doing something well, but doing something that has never been done. Creating a move that changes how the game is played forever. With Ajax, Cruyff won everything. Let me take you to a specific match. The 1971 European Cup Final. Ajax faced Panathinaikos of Greece at Wembley Stadium in London. Cruyff scored the only goal, a simple tap-in after a teammate's shot. But the victory was not just about the goal. Ajax had played football that Greece could not handle. The Dutch players moved like a school of fish, always together, always changing direction. The world saw that Dutch football had arrived. Between 1966 and 1973, Ajax won 6 Dutch league championships. They won 4 Dutch Cups. And most importantly, they won 3 consecutive European Cups, the most prestigious club competition in the world, in 1971, 1972, and 1973. 3 European Cups in a row. Think about that for a moment. To win 1 European Cup, you must be the best team in Europe for 1 season. To win 3 in a row, you must be the best for 3 years. And to do it with a club from a small country like the Netherlands, a country with a population of only 13 million people at the time, is almost impossible. But Cruyff did it. He also won the Ballon d'Or 3 times. The Ballon d'Or is the Golden Ball award given to the best football player in Europe. He won it in 1971, 1973, and 1974. He was the first player in history to win it 3 times. Not Pelé, not Diego Maradona, not Alfredo Di Stefano. Johan Cruyff was the first. But here is the truth about Cruyff. He was never satisfied. Let me ask you something. What do you do when you have reached the top? When you have won everything? When everyone calls you the best? Most people would relax. They would enjoy their success. They would take the money and the fame and live comfortably. Cruyff did not relax. Instead, he demanded more. He demanded changes. He demanded that Ajax pay him what he was worth. He demanded that the club treat its players like professionals, not like schoolboys, and this caused problems. Cruyff was not easy to work with. He argued with coaches. He argued with the club president. He argued with his own teammates. In 1973, his teammates voted for someone else to be team captain, a player named P. Kaiser. Cruyff was furious. He felt betrayed. He decided that he could no longer play for Ajax, so he left. In the summer of 1973, Johan Cruyff moved to FC Barcelona for a world record transfer fee of 6 million Dutch guilders. That is about $2 million American dollars at the time. It was the most expensive transfer in football history. And here is where the story becomes even more interesting. Barcelona is not just a city, it is a symbol. In the 1970s, Spain was ruled by a dictator named Francisco Franco. The word dictator means a ruler who has complete control over a country, usually through force. Franco had been in power since 1939. His government was extremely strict. The Catalan language, the language spoken in Barcelona and the surrounding region, was banned. Catalan flags were illegal. Catalan culture was suppressed. Franco wanted a unified Spain. One language, one identity, one government, no rebellion. But Barcelona Football Club was the center of Catalan identity. When people came to the stadium, they were not just watching football. They were expressing their resistance, their pride, their refusal to be silenced. And Johan Cruyff, the skinny, rebellious Dutchman from the concrete village, became the symbol of that resistance. He did it in a simple but powerful way. In 1974, Cruyff and his wife had a son. They named him Jordi. Jordi is the Catalan name for Saint George, the patron saint of Catalonia. Under Franco's regime, Catalan names were illegal. You could not give your child a Catalan name on official documents, but Cruyff did it anyway. He defied the government. He said, "This is my son. This is his name. I do not care what the law says." This was not just a personal decision. It was a political statement, a declaration of rebellion. The Dutch footballer told the Spanish dictator, "You do not control me." And the people of Barcelona loved him for it. On the field, Cruyff transformed Barcelona immediately. In his first season, 1973-74, Barcelona won the Spanish League Championship. It was the club's first league title in 14 years. 14 years of waiting, and the Dutchman ended it in just one season. But the greatest moment of his career was still to come. The 1974 FIFA World Cup was held in West Germany. The Netherlands team was built around Cruyff. The system was total football. The coach was Rinus Michels, the same man who had developed the system at Ajax, and the team played football that no one had ever seen before. In the group stage, the Netherlands defeated Uruguay 2-0. They defeated Bulgaria 4-1. They drew 0-0 with Sweden, a match that ended without goals but gave the world something far more memorable. In that game, Cruyff performed the Cruyff turn for the first time on the world stage. The whole planet saw it. And nothing in football would ever look the same again. In the second round, the Netherlands faced Argentina. The score was 4-0. Then East Germany, 2-0. Then the defending world champions, Brazil, with Pelé now retired. The Dutch destroyed Brazil 2-0. Cruyff scored one goal and made the other. The world was stunned. This Dutch team seemed unbeatable. And then came the final. July 7, 1974. Olympiastadion, Munich. The Netherlands versus West Germany. The match started perfectly for the Dutch. In the first minute, Cruyff picked up the ball near midfield. He dribbled past two German players. He was fouled in the penalty area. Penalty kick. Johan Cruyff scored. 1-0. The Netherlands was winning before Germany had even touched the ball. But something changed. The German team was experienced. They did not panic. They slowly took control of the game. In the 25th minute, Germany equalized from a penalty. Then, just before halftime, Germany scored again, 2-1. The second half was a battle. The Netherlands attacked again and again. But the German goalkeeper, Sepp Maier, stopped everything. Cruyff tried everything. Cruyff tried everything. Dribbles, passes, shots. But the goal would not come. The match ended. West Germany 2, Netherlands 1. Cruyff had lost the World Cup final. Think about that for a moment. The best player in the world, the architect of the most beautiful football, walked off the field without the trophy. He was given the Golden Ball, the award for the tournament's best player, as a consolation. But he did not care. He wanted the trophy. He wanted to be world champion. and he had come closer than anyone and still failed. But the defeat on the pitch was not the only battle Cruyff was fighting. Away from football, he was fighting a different kind of war, against the people who were supposed to support him. In 1977, the Dutch Football Federation asked Cruyff to resimmer to return to the national team. He refused, not because of injury, not because of age, but because of a plane ticket. Cruyff had a simple rule. If he traveled to play for his country, his wife Dani would travel with him. The federation refused to pay for her ticket, so Cruyff refused to play. The best player in the world sitting at home over a plane ticket. Most people thought he was crazy, but Cruyff saw it differently. If you do not respect the small things, he said, you do not respect me. This was not stubbornness, this was principle. Here is the part of the story that most people do not know. Cruyff did not play in the 1978 World Cup. The Netherlands reached the final again. They probably would have won if Cruyff had been there, but he was not. Why? For 30 years, the world did not know the truth. Cruyff said he was tired, that he did not want the pressure, that he needed a break. But in 2008, he finally revealed the real reason. Months before the 1978 World Cup, Cruyff and his family were living in Barcelona. They were the victims of a kidnapping attempt. Armed men tried to take him and his family. The attack failed, but it changed him forever. Let me give you more details. It was early 1978. Cruyff had just returned from a training session. 3 armed men broke into his house in Barcelona. They tied up his wife Dani and threatened his children. Cruyff managed to escape through a window and call the police. The men were arrested, but the fear never left. After that experience, Cruyff could not face the pressure of another World Cup. He could not leave his family alone for 2 months. He could not focus on football. The trauma was too deep. The word trauma means a deep emotional wound caused by a frightening event. So he stayed home. He watched the tournament on television, and the Netherlands lost the final again, this time to Argentina. The world never knew what Cruyff had sacrificed. After the World Cup, Cruyff continued playing. He played for Barcelona until 1978. He then spent 2 seasons in the United States, playing for the Los Angeles Aztecs and the Washington Diplomats, where he was named the league's most valuable player. He returned to Ajax in 1981 and helped them win 2 more league titles. But in 1983, Ajax refused to give him the contract he wanted. They said he was too old. Cruyff did not accept this. Instead, he did the unthinkable. He crossed Amsterdam and signed with Ajax's biggest rival, Feyenoord Rotterdam. In his single season with Feyenoord at age 37, he led them to the league championship and the Dutch Cup, the double. He proved that Ajax had made a terrible mistake. Age is just a number when your mind is still sharp. Then he retired as a player. But he was far from finished. Cruyff became a coach. He coached Ajax from 1985 to 1988, winning the European Cup Winners' Cup. Then he moved to Barcelona in 1988, and there he created something extraordinary, the Dream Team. This Barcelona team played football like no one had ever seen. Possession, control of the ball, passing, movement, intelligence. Cruyff taught his players to think, not just to run. He demanded that they control the ball. Control the game. Control the opposition by making them chase shadows. With this team, Barcelona won 4 consecutive Spanish league titles from 1991 to 1994. And in 1992, Barcelona won its first ever European Cup, the biggest prize in club football. But more importantly, Cruyff created a philosophy, a set of ideas that guide actions, a way of playing that continues today. When you watch Barcelona play now, 30 years after Cruyff coached them, you are still watching his system, his ideas, his vision. He also transformed Barcelona's youth academy, La Masia. He insisted that the academy teach the same philosophy as the first team: pass, move, think, control. This system produced players like Pep Guardiola, Xavi, Andres Iniesta, and Lionel Messi. All of them learned Cruyff's philosophy. All of them became world champions. Cruyff's death did not just win trophies, he created a dynasty. But the price of genius is high. In 1991, when Cruyff was coaching Barcelona, his body betrayed him. He suffered severe heart problems. He needed a double bypass surgery, open heart surgery, to create new pathways for blood to reach his heart. Cruyff was 44 years old. His father had died of heart complications at age 45. The same fate was coming for him, but Cruyff refused to die. He stopped smoking. He had been smoking at least 20 cigarettes per day for decades. He replaced cigarettes with lollipops. He changed his diet. He started exercising more carefully. He survived and continued coaching. But in 1996, Cruyff was fired from Barcelona. The club president decided he was too powerful, too independent. Cruyff never coached a professional club again. He worked as a consultant, an advisor, a commentator. He never stopped believing in his ideas. In October 2015, Johan Cruyff was diagnosed with lung cancer. He had stopped smoking 25 years earlier, but the damage had already been done. He fought the cancer with the same determination he had shown on the pitch. He continued to work and speak. But on March 24, 2016, in Barcelona, surrounded by his family, Johan Cruyff died. He was 68 years old. When Cruyff died, the world mourned. Not just football fans, not just the Netherlands. The whole world recognized that something important had been lost. A man who changed the game. A man who defied dictators. A man who refused to be controlled by coaches, presidents, governments, or even death itself. Here is what Johan Cruyff teaches us. Lesson number 1. Your background does not determine your future. Cruyff was born poor. He lost his father at 12. He lived in a concrete village. But he did not let his circumstances define him. Lesson number 2. Genius requires conflict. Cruyff was difficult. He argued with everyone. He refused to follow rules he thought were stupid. But that conflict, that willingness to fight, is what made him great. Harmony does not produce innovation. Tension does. Lesson number 3. You must pay the price. Cruyff's heart almost stopped. He suffered defeats. He was betrayed by teammates and club presidents. He lost a World Cup final. He was fired from his dream job. Greatness is not free. You pay for it with pain. Lesson number 4. Leave something behind. Cruyff did not just win trophies. He created a philosophy, a system, a way of thinking that continues to influence millions of people. The question is not what you achieve. It is what you leave. Lesson number 5. Live on your own terms. Cruyff refused to be controlled by coaches, by governments, by club presidents, by illness. He lived his life the way he wanted. And at the end, he could say, I did it my way. Today, the next time you watch a football match, look at the way players move. Look at how Barcelona plays. Look at how the Netherlands plays. Look at the passes, the movement, the intelligence. That is Johan Cruyff. He is not just a memory. He is alive in every pass, every movement, every moment a player chooses to think instead of just run. He is the boy from the concrete village who changed the world. And his story is not just about football. It is about you. What are you fighting for? What are you willing to defend? What price are you willing to pay? Think about it, because genius is not reserved for the talented. It is reserved for those who dare to be free. If this story inspired you, subscribe to this channel. Every week, we bring you the greatest stories in history, told in English that you can understand, so you can improve your language and your life at the same time. And tell me in the comments, what is one idea you believe in so strongly that you would fight for it? Write your answer below. Thank you for watching. Remember, the concrete village is not your prison. The cigarette may fall, but the spirit never dies. See you in the next one.